the show. Hello, welcome to 40k Spice. I'm your host, Rob. This is John and Tom. Things that we don't like, Knights at the Game Table, they sound like dickheads. Okay, we're back. We're caught up. Sorry, we caught it all up. John, how are you?
Yeah, really good. It's been really quiet at work, so I've been spending a lot of time looking at new game systems because apparently I need more. So after the last time me and you chatted, Rob, I bought a big pile of Star Wars Legion because I have no self-control.
It's my favourite. I love that.
It's all your fault.
Yeah.
I hate you.
People should pay me to pitch
I've got so much Marvel stuff here. I haven't even played the fucking game, and now I've got Legion stuff turning up next week, and
Well, it's actually really good based on the conversation we're going to have. It's actually really good because basically we're about to talk about the Horus Heresy, which is another game system. Games Workshop are going to be like, you should buy this game system. We know the price. We know what's in the box. That's what we're going to discuss today. And actually, for the price of Legion and MCP, that's what the Heresy, like, basically, you've got those two game systems for the price that this game system is going to be, not to blow the lead. Yeah. So actually, you know, how are you feeling about that?
I'm still going to do it, I think.
Oh, my God.
I'm an idiot.
Okay, well, we'll talk more about that in a minute. Tom, how are you? Gorgeous.
I'm good. John's obviously going towards all the other game systems because he's talking about, well, obviously 40k is in a trash position at the minute, so we're going to go back either to a different game system or to a game system that has a rule set similar to when 40k was fantastic, which of course was 7th edition 40k. So we may just go straight to the Horus Heresy, mate, to be honest. Other than that, I've been all right. I've been a bit busy. I've got some sand on my aberrants. I've got a lot of lists formatted for the Allies of Convenience team tournament in a couple of weeks. And yeah, I'm all right. Just a lot going on.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. Okay. Very, very fantastic. So you said, how many tournaments have you got until WTC?
Let me have a look at my calendar because I have made myself an Excel spreadsheet, Rob, of all of my dates with tournaments and weddings and work events going on. Okay. Pull this bad boy up. I can tell you exactly what I'm doing. I have got Allies Convenience teams in the 7th and 8th of May. I've got Home Nations teams on the 21st, 22nd of May. I've got the Northern Warlords teams on the 16th and 17th of July. And then I've got the World Team Championships in middle August. So I've got 3 events, all of which teams. That
is a lot of team events.
It's only 3. Yeah, but it's between now and August, so it's like 3-4 months, isn't it? You know,
okay.
It's not that many, really. It's just 100% teams. So, you know, it's the best way to play 40k, Rob. It means I don't have to play 5 games against mids. And if I do, I'm ready for it. So, you know.
That's true.
Prep.
That's true.
Yeah, although that said, a bit while we're on that, actually.
Please.
I'm testing out the Gene Stealer cults this weekend, and then we're going to make a decision. Because I may not stick on the Gene Stealer cults for WTC at this point. I think they've got to play. But I think there's a lot of good factions out right now, so I want to test a bunch of other stuff and see where we're going. But I'm going to have a little bit of a go with the Gene Stealer cult at this event and then see how I feel about them.
Okay, very interesting. Okay, very interesting. There's lots happening because there is some news, right? There's some 40k news other than the launch of the Tyranids. There is something going on with Knights, John.
Yeah, well, they're doing this thing where they go, right, we're going to preview a load of rules without any context to get you excited because that's what marketing does, right? And I don't really have an opinion on it because without knowing how it all interacts, I just don't care.
I think there's a couple that you can talk about. Specifically, this format was released today, which is that you can take a knight, over a Chaos Imperial Knight in your army without fudging the faction keywords that you need for certain other rules. It effectively makes it like including an Inquisitor or what have you, or an Assassin in your army. So you can now take one of these toys without actually breaking your army. Because beforehand you were souping stuff, and then since then, the Games Workshop kind of moved away from making it easy for you to soup, which means you either end up with like loads of knights or just no knights at all. Whereas now you can actually take that big toy without worrying too much about
3 little toys.
Or 3 little toys. You can go with the Armigers as well if you want to, but at that point it's just like, well, why not? It's just a cool big toy, yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think that's a really cool change because it means that people can actually start to play with these cool knights without having to fully commit on a knight army.
Which I think a lot of people traditionally did. Like in 7th, that felt like what a lot of people wanted to do when they bought a knight. They could justify buying one. They're like, cool, I'll have one because I could just bring it in with my army if I want to, just for the fuck of it, right?
I am interested to see what the Castellan and the Valiant do now, though. Because I still remember that build from like 2019 and what have you, where it was mega strong then. But it's and now it's a case of it's actually allowing you to keep your rules, so there's no real downside to doing it. It's just a case of whether or not that's going to actually be a strong play. I'm not sure it is in the current game state with the current missions, but I mean, it's a thing. It's a thing that's worth remembering, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are very excited to just drop a cool knight into their army, basically.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is good, and it's a bit
painting knights.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a shame that doesn't like operate effectively across faction. Do you know what I mean? Like, I get that we've got the Titans of the Imperium, the Knights, the Armigers, and we got it for Chaos as well. I wouldn't mind. I don't know what you guys feel, but I wouldn't also mind seeing an equivalent set of. I get that we got the Wraith Knight, but what about the other kind of like vehicle chassis?
I'm going to be honest, Rob.
Yeah.
I just want them to make it easier for me to put a Stomper in my army.
That's what I was getting. I led with Eldar so that when so the orc bias wasn't on display as much. Yeah.
One of the things that this does as well with these knights, right? I have 3 Crusaders there. That's useless to me if I wanted to include like 1 knight in my army. I might as well get one of every single knight, and then I can go, or maybe I include a Gallant king, yeah, fuck off, Scrivo. I'm not magnetizing them. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, different load of collections, because I will glue all the magnets to each other, and I'll end up with a massive string of glued magnets.
Yeah,
but they're really easy to do.
No, they're not. Like, this is the thing. Like, people say, oh, it's a really basic hobby skill. Why do you need someone to show you how to do it? Mate, I don't know how to magnetize shit. And everyone assumes it's so easy that no one makes a tutorial.
There is loads of tutorials. I was reading about 4 different ones yesterday. There's any blogger does
They need to be even more basic.
No. Okay. Do you want me to give you the tutorial?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll start. Let me start for you. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Hello, welcome to the Honest Wargamer. In today's tutorial, we're going to learn how to magnetize our miniatures together. But let me take a small moment to just thank Squarespace. Squarespace is a really great way to build websites. And it's what I've used to build this website, where I mainly look at different type of texture paints that you can get from this other company on this website.
Did you get back to NordVPN, by the way?
I haven't. No, I haven't. Etc. 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 Now back to magnets. I like magnets. Magnets are good. I normally get them with my discount code from Element Games, and you can pick them up. And then, do we need to go on, Tom? You fucking drill a hole. You put the magnet in, and you super glue it in. Done.
Yeah, but that means I need a big drill bit. So how big does my drill bit need to be?
Okay. Now I do actually have a product for you. Not to be a cunt. Yeah, there's.
That's absolutely fine. Yeah,
but you're so big a cunt.
That's true. That's true. There's a really cool. I think it's called like the Magic Pen. It's called the Pen Drill.
The little finger one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is what I was missing. This is what you're missing. I had no idea this exists.
Okay, because let me tell you, I've bought the fucking screwy drills before. And every time I've ever done it, I'm like, how does this, like, what the, like, none of the drill bits would get, like, I hated it. So you could get a Dremel, or I would get the little pen drill. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. It's something. It's called a pen drill or something.
It's a single-handed jobbo where you can just drill without having to hold and spin, or.
Yeah, it's the Kickstarter thing. I mean, so you could just use a Dremel, which is like 30 quid on probably thingy. A lot of people.
I need a big fat Dremel because I might need a big fat pin to drill in the thing.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I personally don't think you'll need a Dremel level, but like having a Dremel is good anyway because all the attachments you can use it for sanding stuff. Like I would say Dremel is probably up there as like a necessary hobby tool. My personal opinion. Okay. I don't know what anyone else says. But everyone is going to tell you to use a hand drill, and that's a nightmare because that's going to take you out. Like you're doing this, Tom. Have you got a lot of energy to just keep doing this for just multiple times a day?
For years.
Years you can do this multiple times a day.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
absolutely.
Go on, John. What's your advice?
Buy 6x1mm magnets and then just stick them to the ends of the pieces with super glue, and then if they fall off, just glue them back on.
Okay, so you've got.
They always fall off when okay. So the magnets are stronger than the actual super glue in my experience.
Yeah.
So I'd like pull the magnet towards the other magnet, so they magnetize to each other, and then when I try and pull it off, it would just rip the other magnet off.
Oh, I see what you mean. I don't know what the answer is there. Get less strong magnets.
Don't go N52. Go N35 instead.
Yeah, why
I don't know what those words mean.
Yeah, so there's different strength of magnets. Actually, I don't know why there isn't a really simple magnet drill guide.
You see what I mean?
No,
now?
I'm with you,
see
Tom.
what I mean?
Okay, next one, mag slap.
Mag chop.
Slap mag. Yeah, I'll do you one. Don't worry. Yeah,
yes.
Easy. Yeah.
And then you'll get abuse on Twitter again.
I'll just be like, only buy this magnet, no other magnets. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Dremel, often their slowest speed is a bit fast for gun barrels, etc. You could do that, but you could get the pen drill, Tom. That would anyway. We've gone too far into this.
Well, we've got so many different opinions in chat about how to magnetize. Shows that there could be just one basic tutorial on how to do it properly. Yeah,
could someone just make the 1 minute how to magnetize for Tom video, please? Because it feels.
And then we'll upload it and take all the ad revenue.
This is the thing.
Be about £5.
Anyway, this is the thing. People are so triggered about like basic hobby stuff. They're like, "What? You don't know that?" It's like, yeah, I don't know loads of shit. Like,
it's
anyway,
gatekeeping because I have no idea how to get started.
Yeah, exactly, Tom.
It's just assumed knowledge.
Exactly, it is assumed knowledge. Okay, so good. Well done for you for asking what is a really difficult question emotionally. Because
mate,
I respect that.
Mate, unlike all the people who go on Mizkiv's channel, I don't have any issue with saying that I'm an idiot who doesn't know anything about anything.
Yeah. I went and asked my local magnet. I went and asked in my local magnet showroom yesterday, and the strange staff looked at me like I was mental. Just so everyone is aware, Magnet is not a magnet store that's held in the UK.
They sell kitchens.
Oh, anyway, okay. Oh my God, Dan, don't please, you'll kill me. All right, so where were we? Where the frick were we?
Do any of Vince's 800 videos show me how to magnetize anything?
So we were talking about knights and how the option is to bring one. So obviously having the ability to make that £105 kit into one of the 5 different types of knights would be kind of handy.
Okay.
So.
All right, fair enough.
So, and the speed these articles are coming out, it looks like it might be Sunday's preview article coming up saying that they'll be pre-ordered next weekend is my gut feeling. Which means 2 weeks' time we might see them and Chaos Knights launch box because they're saying that that's super soon now as well, and will be the only way to get the book and shit first. So it'll be like a 2-3 month wait for that book to actually drop on its own, I think. Yeah,
I agree. And also, so we got Warhammer Fest. Other news: we got Warhammer Fest next weekend. Potentially, we're going to see more kits. Have you got any thoughts on that?
They're dragging it out across like 4 days, right?
Okay.
So we can be really excited briefly for the first day and then hopefully not be underwhelmed by it.
Yeah.
I think we're not going to see more Votan. I think we might see more Chaos Space Marine previews.
Interesting, because I wonder if that's when we're going to see World Eaters.
Because that silhouette, there's a lot of theories about what that is, right? Because it looks like a demon prince, looks like it could be a possessed thing. There's a lot of different theories behind it. I feel like
the thing I heard that made the most sense to me was the Greater Possessed one.
Yeah, because there was on that rumor, was it the Reddit article where someone had posted all the leaks?
Yeah.
One of them was like a human possessed monster type of thing. There was a few different variations, and that feels like that might be the option that one is, because those leaks have been 100% so far, right?
They have. Those leaks have been
like shockingly accurate. Like
I don't think it's shockingly accurate. I reckon if you treat all of your employees like a dick and then you underpay them severely, I reckon none of it is shockingly.
Depends on how nicely you treat the dick, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think if you genuinely abuse your staff, you end up with shitty behaviours. And also because they're just terrible at stuff. Like, just terrible. Terrible at all things. I reckon it's a fucking weird Space Marine lieutenant. Nice. Okay. Demon Prince sense. So Colvin Mark thinks Demon Prince makes sense. Kit is ancient, which I think is good. And also Strata Miniature says, Tom, that you can get magnets with different coloured sides, so you know which one to glue on which.
That's a good idea. I hadn't even considered that.
Yeah. Or you can buy yourself a Sharpie that's red and blue and mark one side and not the other, as an example.
Yeah, but that sounds like it requires more hobby than I would prefer. I would have to colour something.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a hobby.
It can smudge off if you're not careful, so I can see why It's an obstacle for things to. It's another place where it can go wrong.
Okay. All right. Okay. Fine. Get the magnets, buy a paintball gun, shoot at it downrange. Yeah, really fucking make it excited for yourself. Yeah, one on each side. Okay, fine. Fine.
Or you could just glue the model together.
We need to IRL stream paintballing at Bawtry.
Yeah, all right, deal. Yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
100%. Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
I reckon Nikos would be a killer.
Me too. Like a fucking
He'll
ninja.
be there. I've brought my own
Destroy
gun.
everyone.
He's like, oh, he's got his own gun.
Vince! What's up, baby?
Your mic, you scream so loud, your mic cut out.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, okay. That's the limiter. Good. Vince in the chat will have a video for you, Tom. I'm sure. Vince, link us.
Apparently got 800 videos, Muddy.
He's got 800,000 videos.
Advertising for dummies.
Yeah,
So
no.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
In under 3 minutes, please. Get it done. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Horus Heresy today, specifically. And should you or will you, not like should you, more will we be getting it? And through that journey of how, if, and or why we might be purchasing it, yeah, we might all learn something on the way, or we won't. Who knows? Okay, so let's start off with the box set, shall we? Which got revealed this week, or it got officially revealed this week, but it's been available, like, and all of the rules are out. Okay, so we saw a leak of this over a year ago, and everyone knows this story, right? The guy ran into Forge World and just took photos on his phone and ran out. That's what happened, which is insane. But we now know that this box has been released, and not this box. This is the contents of the box, sorry, and this is all official. Okay, so just to go through it before we talk about the details, there's a Spartan Tank, which is a plastic tank, which has a capacity of 20 people if the rules stay the same as they were back in the Heresy days. Has it changed? Oh, interesting. Okay, thank you. Okay, so you have the box. Whoa, this is the box set. This is the first time I'm seeing this, right? Okay. In theory, I'd be interested in this, but I don't need more space marines. Okay, well, we'll talk through it. Okay, so you've got the Spartan Tank with Mark II armor, right? Now that's okay. Let me explain it to you, Tom. Yeah. Oh no, actually, John, go on, John. You take it away, baby. Go for it. Yep. Oh wait, hold on. Someone can't hear you for some reason. I don't know what happened then. Can only hear me. Oh, okay. There we go. Go on, John.
So basically, when they launched Heresy plastic armor models, they had Mark III and Mark IV.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the iron kind of knight style stuff. Then Mark IV, which was kind of more akin to what Primaris is kind of modeled on. They've never done any other plastics. This is the first time we'll see Mark II armor in plastic, I think.
It is.
Which is quite big, but it's just a guy sat in the top of a tank turret, which is quite exciting, but at the same time, like, why can't we have units of them? But I think that's because it's an older model that historically where they are in the Heresy for where kind of we're at the Siege of Terror, right?
Mm.
They'd be using more Mark VI armor onwards. They're going to be kind of being more forward thinking because obviously Heresy is less cataclysmically kind of, we're only using old stuff because we're superstitious. It's actually an arms race, but kind of realistically, isn't it?
Yeah, so I've got some thoughts on this, which made me chuckle this morning, and I'll let you know I'll see what you guys think. Okay, so I looked at this armor this morning. So just to fly through the box, sorry. There's 2 special character sculpts, 2 praetors as they're known. There are 10 Terminators, which are the same Terminators that you can get in Betrayal of Calth. So they're not new sculpts.
Cataphracti.
Yeah, Cataphracti. It's the same. Yeah, it's a type of armor, Tom. There are 2 types: Cataphracti and Tartarus. And then there are 40 Marines. Okay, like 40 Marines, and there's a Redemptor Dreadnought and the Spartan. So that's everything inside the box. Okay.
Contemptor.
Contemptor.
So 10 Imperial Fist dudes and 30 Sons of Horus dudes?
Well, they're actually, because they're all the same, you could just build them all as the same dudes if you wanted. So it's basically an army in a box. So if you bought the whole box for yourself, not to split it, you would have a tank, 40 Marines, 10 Terminators, a Dreadnought, and 2 characters. So you're like in a pretty good place.
And the tactical Marines or the tactical squads can go in up to 20s. So that's potentially only 2 squads of them as well.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, in Heresy, having...
If you remember how...
Go on.
Oh, carry on, man. The detachment field is kind of the classic look of having HQs and troops and stuff, and you have to have 3 troop choices. So you need, technically, those to fulfill an army, right? So having just half that box wouldn't necessarily fill that role, so...
Yeah.
I guess the only things that are specific to faction are the 2 characters, right?
Yes.
No.
No, they're not even. No, they're not even specific to faction, Tom.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're generic.
That Imperial Fist dude doesn't look like he'd fit in Sons of Horus army because he's got the big
plumes.
plume on his head.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the interesting thing about the Heresy. Just to kind of like having been played a lot of the Horus Heresy back in the day, is that it's not what you think of as traditional Marines, where they're like the 40k versions of Marines are a lot more stylized. They're like, that's very much X. Yeah, but back in the day, it was, everything, because there wasn't the cataclysm that was the Horus Heresy. Everyone had Terminators and bikes and tanks, and they all had pretty much, sure, they specialized, but they all pretty much had everything, and they had it in crazy numbers. The reason the Heresy was so important is there was the decimation of so much of the resources and infrastructure and ability to even reproduce this stuff that we're kind of just left with relics. That's what the whole kind of Imperium's about now. And the thing, this is the bit that really struck me though, and I want to be really clear. Games Workshop has spent a long time over the past 4-5 years working on doing Primaris, making better Primaris, making them look really good, and them have that 40k Space Marine aesthetic, right? And honestly, these look shit. Like, I'm just gonna say it. Like, someone has to say it. These look shit. Like it's such an old.
The Horus Heresy minis.
The Horus Heresy mini, like the 2 characters look great, yeah, but regular Marines from back in the day look balls, I think. Now, because I've been... Go on, John, after you.
I quite like them, but I think it's because I have a lens of when I got into the hobby,
Nostalgia.
Beaky Marines were the thing. And seeing a modern, sympathetic sculpt of them, I've literally just started frothing going, how many can I have? And that's... When I picked Darkangels, I picked them because I wanted to have as many beaky helmets as possible. That was one of the deciding factors of why I'm using the chapter in 40k that I use. So I think I've got a bias there, but I feel what you're saying is kind of fair, because it feels like they've done this whole push of here's some new Marines. This is forward thinking. And I was chatting to one of my locals, and I was like, if you were buying this and then using it to then go, right, sometimes I can use the Contemptor in 40k. You could use the tactical Marines, but why would you? In 40k, I can't think of a time recently where I've gone, yeah, let's mix things up a bit. I might bring some tactical Marines.
Yeah, like...
Why wouldn't I just take intercessors? It's like these things do better. Same points.
Because we're in such an interesting next couple of years, right? Because this being the first part, right? The first part of this is like, hey, by the way, how much better are all of these Primaris Marines for years? Yeah, Primaris Marines so good. You seen these Primaris tanks? So good. Love Primaris, so good. And then they're like, but also, these weren't as ugly as we said they were. I'm so sorry, we've changed our mind. Yeah, and then in a couple of years, they've been like, how good is Age of Sigmar? Fucking Age of Sigmar's lush. I don't know if you know how good Age of Sigmar is. It's so, so good. And then in a couple of years, they're going to be like, but also, isn't Bretonia cool? What the hell? Isn't this a completely flip the script situation? That's what I was thinking this morning when I looked at this picture, because I just thought, I've seen all those minis before, apart from the 2 characters, obviously. I was like, don't give a fuck. That's where I was at. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. In the box. But I want to hear different opinions. Tom, you're a little bit more on the fence. What are you thinking?
I can see why you think they look crap, but I like them. And part of the reason for that is it reminds me of when I was at university in my first year, just sat at my desk, just painting grey hunters, just vibing.
Yeah, just
Like
vibing, just living life.
Vibing with these, just vibing with these dudes with just no names, just expendable dudes who are just going to run in and like blend stuff,
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I dig it. I like it. I like a lot. I mean, the poses are a lot better than a lot of the Grey Hunter legs that you previously had. But yeah, I'm a fan, but I can understand how you could see it, and if you're seeing it for the first time and you haven't got that nostalgia factor about tactical Marines and what have you, you wouldn't be like, hell yeah, I'm really into it. You know what I mean? I can understand your perspective.
Yeah,
I agree with it.
Okay, good, because that's kind of the first thing I thought. Having, by the way, built 2 Marine-based Horus Heresy armies in my life, fully painted, loved them, Salamanders and Deathguard, big fans, and I even dipped my toes into Emperorschildren because I like the sculpts. But now, honestly, like I've also painted a 40k Marine army with like intercessors and all those, and those are just great sculpts. I can't imagine going back to dinky fellas, like not to diss on Short Kings, not to go there, right? Not doing that. I'm just thinking. Like, whereas, anyway, so Tom, based on the box, are you interested? Like, how are you feeling
I've
about it?
I've already planned to buy it.
Okay, why?
So basically, I'm still going through the books. I've got my Audible membership, okay? And every month I spend a token on a new Horus Heresy book that I haven't listened to yet, and I'm going through the story. And I've got a mate of mine who walks dogs who's doing the same thing. And he's a big fan of painting. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this box, we're going to split the 2 factions, and we're going to play together, and it's going to be great.
Okay, all right, that's cute. I love that. That's really fun. John, like based on just the box, you said you've been going off on one about this. Talk to me. What you thinking?
So, the biggest obstacle I had for Heresy back in the day was I hated 7th edition because I was an Orc player playing against Necrons and Tau, and it felt like the game was modelled against me. And I always found that really tough. It was probably a lot of it coming into the fact that I was just starting getting back into the hobby. But also, for Heresy, what put me off was the amount of resin. This being kind of the push that they're making kind of strides that a lot of stuff's going to be plastic suddenly made it less of an obstacle for me. So those 2 things combined, it's like I've my memories of 7th edition have faded so much, and the obvious things I had that I didn't like about 7th won't be necessarily as much of an issue because I'm not necessarily going to be playing Orcs for obvious reasons. It's going to be Space Marine versus Space Marine where our Legion traits make the difference, which to me sounds actually quite refreshing in a weird sort of way of like a bit more mirror match kind of level sort of thing where you're trumped by a couple of units, not the fact that your entire army's busted beyond belief.
Okay, so did either of you play the Horus Heresy game at any level back in the day?
No.
Okay, I did. It's a Primarch inside a Spartan with 10 Terminators, and you fucking hand fist the other guy across the board. Yeah.
Yes,
so you play 3,000. So you play 3,000 points. Things die more. Die more is kind of the description, but really, you've got more points to fuck someone else. Like, think about the sliding scale, Tom. Imagine how much output you've got from 2,000 points turn 1 in a 40k game, then give me 1,000 more points of output on turn 1. And I know, sure, they've got 1,000 points on the other side as well, but it's just, it feels a bit more...
It doesn't matter, it's just because whoever goes first just blows the other person off the board and they win war attrition automatically.
Yeah. Right?
It's a balanced game, but it's not balanced around player skill, it's balanced around who goes first.
Well, so, and this is where, like, I shout this out all the time. Alan Bligh did a really, really amazing job of being able to, like, change how you build these armies and orientate stuff on the board, which I thought was really excellent back in the day. Don't know what the new ones are going to be like, but sure. But generally, having been to 4 Horus Heresy events myself, the meta was, if meta is something that's of interest to you, was a bunch of dudes with Spartans, and I mean loads of them, right? Like, everyone was like, I've got a Spartan, and there's a Primarch inside, and there's 10 fucking Terminators inside there, and they're going to kick your dick in.
Play Custodians as well for a bit, because armor saves are quite valuable.
Well, so then Custodians came out, and they giga-fucked the game. Like, giga-fucked it.
They limited them at events, didn't they? It was one player could turn up with it, everyone else got told, no, bring your boring Space Marine stuff.
Yeah, and
So
also Imperial Knights or Knights of any sort actually were pretty demonstrably like overpowered in the game as well. So that occurred for a while. Mechanicum were in the game, which is really fun. They generally were like good to great, and then also you obviously have Solar Auxilia, which were also really exciting. As far as we know, or we do know, is both the Mechanicum and the Auxilia and the Knights don't get any rule sets at game launch, which was classic Games Workshop and unfortunate, but whatever. Like they're gonna be what they're gonna be. Like
yeah, well, you didn't want the Mechanicum stuff to have rules for one game system. They went from having 7th edition rules to suddenly being told you'll have some when 8th edition drops, and then they never did. So those big like weird laser gun things, the massive vehicle you have to put sideways in your deployment zone, you just can't use them anywhere. They're now just gonna be a doorstop, right? That's the whole point.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about my 2 Forge World real armies being like fucking retconned out of it's just Marines versus Marines. But Tom, to your point, it generally is Marines versus Marines. And what's really exciting is there's different ways to build those Marines. So unlike in 40k where you would build just Darkangels, in Heresy you build Darkangels and then you build like because of the rights of war, you generally build different types of Darkangels. So if you want to go all first company Terminators, you can. If you want to go for and obviously there is because of the yeah, exactly, because there are sub-faction abilities.
Fire wing.
Yes. You kind of get bonuses, so you are like
so excited.
You are like what does Vince always say? You're like designed in line. Yeah, the rule sets one to the other go in line. So like you're like, okay, I'm taking this army that's got +1 to wound, and then I'm going to take this one, which also gives me like a reroll charges or some shit, right, etc., etc. So you kind of end up in that process. Mm-hmm. But you can build, and that's quite fun because when you did see the guy that didn't have a Spartan with a Primarch and 10 Terminators inside, you were like, oh baby, love that. Like that's something.
Yep.
Yeah. Someone would have done like 100 fucking like beaky Marines or some Marines on the board, and it was wicked. So I love that. So that's just some context for it back in the day, because you're right, Tom. You can just pretty much play Marines versus Marines, and it's a good laugh. Like it's a great laugh, I think. So anyway, John, you were saying you were excited. What else about this box is making you excited?
Well, to me, beakies were my jam. So being able to buy beakies and paint them up, and it's like for my birthday, the missus bought me Lionel Johnson, knowing this was coming, and I was just like, I'm at that point where I'm just like, if I get him painted in time, I can buy the box, put him in a Spartan with those Terminators, and then I'm gonna have great fun times. And I'm hoping that then, as a result, we get some cool stuff like maybe some themed terrain, some actual stuff that actually can help with the game as well. Like it's not necessarily seeing all the new Space Marine stuff, but maybe like seeing things like Knight Templars, because like Garrow's in the game, right?
Garrow's in the game.
My favorite characters.
Super cute.
There's him and Rubio, but that's it. But like, what if they do some more?
That's a lot of spoilers there you just deployed.
The Garrow's in the game.
Be in the game. He's in the game. They've sold them
I don't
for
know
like 5-6
who
years.
half the other people that you mentioned now, but that's the thing.
Oh,
Rubio.
Yeah. There's
What about my man Loken?
Yeah, Loken.
Yeah. No. He's well deep.
He's well deep into it. Yeah, they're all in it. There is going to be no theme terrain, John. What fucking planet are you on? Like,
they were really, really smart. They've got this thing like Imperial Fists, like building walls. Why don't they do like a wall kit for them or something?
Ooh, I'm going to be honest with Scribbo. Like, when I play a game of 40k, I don't see just piles of rocks all over my board, whereas here, they clearly have lots of that. So I guess that's the theme terrain.
Yeah. I'm very excited about Scatter Dice coming back.
Oh,
hi. Hello, Mrs. Scrivens.
Oh, God.
I really like Scatter Dice coming back, and Templates, because
I just can't wait.
I can't wait.
I'm putting my template down, and look, it's going straight down. Don't worry, I'm not doing well.
There is genuinely a job in my future, I think, for just attending heresy events as a special need education coordinator. Yeah, just coming up to a table, be like, "Oh, you're about to drop some templates, are you? Don't worry, I'll deal with these two people trying to have this conversation. It's actually over that one, mate. No, it's not. Like, it's moved 8 inches. Oh, you're doing it too high. Yeah, right. Absolutely 11 out of 10. Some of my favorite interactions I've ever seen. Yeah.
You know how like you can get a Pringles can?
Yeah.
It's really long and circular.
Yeah.
I think blast templates, instead of being templates, should just be big Pringles cans to a certain size, and then you just try and get it over as many molds as possible.
What, like a tub? Like a holder? Like a stamp?
Right. These models get hit.
Yeah.
Straight on top. Bang. There are no arguments. It is on the table. We know exactly what's going to hit. Oh, be careful, mate. You're going to hit my model. Are you saying it's underneath the circle? Yeah, there you go. Got him.
Oh my god, Heresy players aren't like that in reality, Rob. Not ones that show up to events.com. I've been to those events, and yes, they are.
So I've already got solutions to that in my head.
Oh, yeah.
So the old laser pointer, there's the hole in the middle of the template. Point that directly down, put a dice down, and then just measure it from that dice. I'm just going to do that.
No.
And if anyone calls me out on it, I'll be like, you're wrong.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm excited about templates because they're fucking joyous to watch two people interact with templates. Also, if we ever do live coverage, can't wait to mic up those players. No, actually, that's no, you haven't missed it. So super excited about that. That's going to be really fun. Won't slow games down at all. What else? That's fine.
I'm in flashbacks. Murder boys. That's only 17 of my guardsmen on 25mm bases. Fuck off. It doesn't matter. That's just one flamer. There's another 9.
So I'm excited about that. So overall, I actually think, so the thing is, we know the price as well. We know the price is £240 English money from Games Workshop, which means you would get 20% off from like a local gaming store.
44, so it's going to be 196 UK.
Okay, so like 200 quid. 200 quid. Which is, but that's 200 quid for like a portion of a heresy army, I think. Yeah. Which is like.
It's at least half an army, right?
So, well, yeah. Like, so I reckon that box is about half an army. Half an army that you would get. And you could just get 2 boxes and then have most of an army, I guess.
But do you really need 80 tactical marines? That was my question to myself. I've already had this conversation.
Have you played the Black Templar Tide yet, Scribber?
No.
Neither have I, but I know it's a thing.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to get all those tactical marines, mate, not the worst way.
So the really cool thing about this box, so let's just start at big highs. The really cool thing about this box is the way you would build most heresy stuff is you normally start with your 2 20-man squads, right? And back in the day, they used to cost you £8 billion because they were from Forge World, right? And then you would also buy the Legion shoulder pads, and you would buy the Legion heads and the Legion body. So for some reason, you just really bought £8 billion worth of legs, and then you had loads of spares. Anyway, so you have some, right? You ever look back at your life and you think, God, I'm a dumb fuck, because that was me. But anyway.
But I just wanted the shoulder pads. I couldn't just use transfers.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. Still priced in Australia. Yeah, that'll be expensive. But what was I going to say? Where was I? Yeah, this is actually quite a good box because the cool thing about the Heresy when you build a Marine army generally is, as is being said in the chat, you'll buy the Primarch because of course you're going to buy the Primarch because that's wicked, yeah? And then you buy the faction-specific units because they have faction-specific units for most of the legions now. And that's actually a really cool little, that's cool because I personally think you generally want to play as many faction-specific units as possible. And you don't
what's the point, right?
Yeah, otherwise, what's the point? Otherwise, you're just the dude with more Bolter Marines, but that's super fun. Tom, have you ever seen any of the faction-specific ones?
And you use faction-specific units?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a look at a few of them when I was picking my legions. I've already got a Lorgar and a Lehman Russ up there. But like you look at the faction-specific units, there's like 4 or 5 of them for each faction. Yeah. Right? And I'm just like, they're not massively different. I don't know. So
what is in looks?
Yeah.
Okay, that seems fair.
Genuinely.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Like I was just like, oh, okay. Like, oh, there's just one unit that's slightly different, and maybe I'll get a couple of those, and then I just have to buy a bunch of tactical marines that look the same as everybody else's. You know what I mean?
I think it's because it's meant to be a war game. I think when I was playing it, or when I put it together, like I think the thing that I enjoyed about it were what were the poll results. That's a great question. Let's go find out. What were the
big no? I think.
Was it a big no? Were what people getting it?
Big no. Last time I checked, it was 414 in favor of no.
A few results.
It's 14-5, so it's no 74%. Yes was 26%.
Well,
So
I don't want to get there yet because I want to talk about the positives, right? Because like I think there are positives. So anyway, faction-specific units. So before we go, which I think is quite cool because you get to add these like really unique units which you can only get because you don't have that. Oh, actually, you still have that in 40k quite a bit, don't you? I guess.
Yeah, but bit. Yeah, you got like Wolfen and Thunderbolt Cavalry. And
yeah, that's true.
All that kind of
Deathwing Knights.
Well, that's the really weird thing about like 40k. Like if I was playing 40k, I'd only want to play Space Wolves to play Wolfen or the other specific units, right? You don't want to do it to play intercessors, if that makes sense.
No, it's true. Although if you put intercessors in your heresy army, I have it on a good authority, they'll get big mad at you.
Oh, will they get big mads?
Well, didn't they have like a White Dwarf article a couple of years ago where a guy had made like a Sons of Horus army that was converted out of intercessors and stuff, and everyone got really mad.
Yeah.
Horus Heresy players are weird, bro.
We are. Thank you. I know. I agree. I agree. We are.
I've said I buy the box, so I include myself in that. But, you know.
All right. So, shall we go through and decide which legions we would be? Right. The poll results, by the way, are very significantly. Okay. So I'm gonna quiz. Who should we go for? Tom, we'll start with you. Okay. We're going to see which legion you would get. Okay. Horus, the War Master, has communed with the Dark Powers and torn the Imperium asunder. How do you view his actions?
We'll go for the humanity must be freed of ignorance one.
Humanity must be freed of ignorance. Oof. Okay, interesting. That's an interesting choice there. Okay. Right. So, scans of the battlefield have detected enemy troop movement in an unexpected quarter. How do you respond?
Scramble the infantry.
The infantry, not the armored support. I got to say, I agree with that. Support. Yeah, I'm not down with the armored support. I'm with you.
I don't want to be cock-blocked by ruins.
In Heresy, there's no such thing as ruins.
No terrain.
Hey, John, you're ruining my authentic experience. I advise you shut the fuck up.
These Heresy events I used to attend to, they're like, there's a forest there. Good luck.
Oh, no.
I was like, a forest?
That's one tree. You can't call one tree a forest.
Okay, all right. The scans revealed a heavily defended bunker, okay? And you're tasked with storming it. Strike fast, close the gap, and minimize time for the line of fire. Advance steadily, analyzing their weak spots and fields of fire as you approach. Or, on second thought, maybe calling in tanks as the best way to minimize casualties.
Go big fast.
Strike fast.
Yes, that's
big fast.
I think that the term for that is war.
Yeah, that is the term.
You have been given orcs.
You are an orc
Here's
player.
your 7th edition book. Buy it again.
Here is a pop-up set of instructions on how to play. Go forth. When fighting gets up close and personal, do you like power claws or a power sword?
I'll go for the sword, please, mate. It's got a better reach.
Yeah, sword is way better. Okay, you've discovered the location of the enemy warlord. What's your next move? I always find it very funny that like the enemy warlord, like the Primarch who would like literally dunk an entire legion on his own, was like, "We'll get him, boys." Anyway, send your fastest troops and light armor to strike directly at the heart of the enemy. Display martial superiority by deftly decimating their troops, or let them know you're arrived and allow your reputation to draw them into an engagement on your terms.
Well, 1 and 3 are silly buggers, so we'll go for 2.
Okay, all right, perfect. Display martial superiority. What are you riding into battle? A legion javelin attack speeder.
Your mother.
She's dead. You can't, right? Or
I never put any specifics.
Flogging a dead horse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. She's long in the face, but there's no need for that. Or a Demios pattern rhino. Yeah. A speeder or a rhino.
I will go the fucking rhino.
Okay, go for the rhino.
Land.
I like the aesthetic a bit more, mate. It looks nicer.
Okay, right. Final question. Would you rather embody the graceful fury of your angelic leader, leading by example, or cut down your clumsy foes with astounding displays of deadly combat skills?
Why can't I do both of these? Would I rather my opponent be an idiot or me be well skilled?
You know what the Horus Heresy mainstream media is like, Tom. It's always trying to divide us. Yeah? It's trying to divide and conquer. So I don't know. Your choice.
We'll go for the I would prefer my opponents to be a dumbass one, so we'll go for option number 2, please.
Option number 2. The Emperor's Children.
I don't know how that's come to that conclusion, but all right then.
The Emperor's Children. Let's go look at the faction-specific units for the Emperor's Children. Okay.
Very
Okay.
nice.
Okay. Wait.
I've noticed there's
Right.
at least 2 or 3
Blackdragon.com.
No. But also yes.
Loyalist.
But also yes. Emperor's Children. Okay. Very interesting. I collected Emperor's Children. They were one of the first ones to come out, so they had some of the older sculpts. The Forger website isn't working. Excellent.
Did we crash it with our 120 people? Oh no, it's working for me.
I was doing this earlier. You might just need to refresh it, Rob.
Yeah, mine's working fine.
Okay.
It would load a blank page earlier. It was weird.
Okay. Tom is quite fabulous, so I get it. I agree, Tom is quite fabulous. That does make sense. You are the embodiment of perfection, Tom. Okay, so you get to potentially get Fulgrim. Would you be tempted by Fulgrim?
I'd be tempted by Fulgrim, although his blade looks stupid. But yeah, I'd be tempted.
His blade does look stupid. That's a great point. Then you've got Saul Tarvitz, who is a full gangster, an amazing, great model. Thoughts?
I like Saul Tarvitz.
Okay.
I prefer him with the helmet, but obviously, if I'm going full traitor, that might be a little bit tricky. I tell you what, I really like. I really like the Phoenix Terminators because I really like their glaives.
Yes, the Phoenix Temperate.
Awesome.
Yeah, they are
Yeah.
super cool. Yeah, 100% agree. Can I just thank Vic VJ for subscribing? I honestly can't believe he still subscribes.
Well done,
I love Vic.
By the way, mate. Good job.
Yeah. Well done, Vic, for just being a babe. Well done, you.
Vic won Bristol GT last weekend.
Did he?
So congrats to Vic. Yeah.
What with?
Good job. I can't remember. Get it? I think it was Eldar, but I'm not certain.
Well done, Vic. Well done. Well done. Right. So the Emperor's Children Phoenix. Are you interested in the Palatine blades by any chance?
Mate, I really like the stances on those things. Those things look pretty. Big fan. Yeah,
Okay.
I like some of these, mate. I like some of these. I really like. I think the thing that I think is most underrated about these are the doors for the rhinos.
Yeah.
I think those look some of the best out of all the legions. I really like that insignia.
Hell yeah! You've got some. Yeah, that's really nice. I like. Are they still doing transfers? Oh my god, amazing!
They are. All the legions have
Also,
still got
by the way,
transfer sheets.
I'm a big fan. How we always criticize Games Workshop for putting models on like ridiculous rocks.
Yeah.
When I'm looking at Lord Commander Eidolon, I can see that the rock is bigger than the miniature itself.
Yeah. The Horus Heresy guys do not fuck around with a rock. They were like, I think that's why Games. I won't lie. I think Games Workshop have kind of been jealous of Horus Heresy's rock game, which is why we've got more tactical rocks in 40k now.
Okay. So how would the Contemptor Dreadnought side of this box set work with my Emperor's Children Legion Contemptor Dreadnought? Because if it's Legion non-specific,
yeah,
I mean it doesn't have all the heraldry and stuff. You know what I mean?
Correct. So that's the trade-off you get.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're just paying for what is genuinely an ugly sculpt, I think.
So in The Witcher 3, there's this quest, right, where you have to help a troll paint some heraldry on top of a boat, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you get the troll to do it, it looks really nice. But if you do it yourself, it looks awful.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to green stuff this shitty bird directly across the front of my Contemptor.
Nice. Okay, love that. Yeah.
They get to use the Aquila as a thing of honor as a reward, don't they? So that's like kind of mocking that almost.
Yeah, that's fine. That's good. That's good. I think the Contemptor is Contemptor Redemptor. Contemptor that comes in because I own some of those from Calth as well. Awful sculpts.
So they did an article earlier about this. This is actually a new sculpt in this box.
Yeah. Awful.
Because the previous one is just a solid body, and then you can stick arms on, and they can wiggle a little bit, but the body is just rigid, the whole thing.
I think. Do you think it's good? Honest answer.
This new one.
Yeah.
It's very, very plain, and I would not be surprised if, when they do upgrade sprues for each of the legions, that there's stuff that you can stick on them, because it looks so bloody empty. It looks almost too intentionally empty.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
all it's doing is, to me, it goes, right, if I'm going to do a contemptor, if I buy this box, that contemptor will probably just sit in the corner. I'll use all the weapons and magnetize them to use, but I've already got a relic contemptor from Forge World for Darkangels. So why wouldn't I use that where I bought it because it looks fucking cool than just the vanilla?
Okay, so your suggestion is, wait, so you pro it because there might be upgrade kits, so you anti it?
I'm not bothered by it, but it doesn't put me off buying the box as a result of one thing not being so great for me. Like, I like that it's got all the guns. I like that it's got the Havoc launcher on the top, because normally you'd have to buy that as an extra thing when you buy a resin one. So there's some cool positives to it, but at the same time, it's just a bit too vanilla for me.
That's awful, man. Like, and the reason I say that is I understand why they've included it. They're like, let's get into this. But actually, if you compare, the Emperorschildren one is sick. Like,
That's so pretty.
Wicked. And it's one of the earlier ones that they did. Like, I think Mark Bedford painted this, and it looks the balls. Like, it looks so good, right? Forge World Contemptors are undoubtedly being repackaged, which is it's gut-wrenching if they don't repackage it like that they've designed it, because they look so good. They look so good. In my opinion. Okay. So are you tempted to play your Emperorschildren there, Tom, or you think you're going to go, if you would you play a different one?
I'll think about it, but we'll have a see when I get the box in my hands.
Okay. All right, interesting. All right, John, it's time to see what you're thinking.
Oh, God.
No, all right, so let's take you through the quiz. Okay. Horus the War Masters commune with the dark powers, torn the Imperium asunder, disloyalty is unforgivable, or humanity must be freed of ignorance.
It's unforgivable, Rob.
Huh? Unforgivable?
It's unforgivable, yeah.
Oh, no. If you end up being blue, friendship,
definitely not.
Friendship ended with John, right? Someone says the
fingers crossed then, eh?
Fingers crossed. Right. Scans of the battlefield have detected enemy troop movement, unexpected quarters, scramble the infantry, or call in armored support.
We bring the big boys in. It's the armored support.
Really? Oh, you're going very different.
John's a big fan of big boys.
Yeah, okay, interesting.
Every time.
Yeah, he's a bluey, get him. Not all dread options are on the sprue, so there must be a different kit or upgrade out there in the future. Again, so not to interrupt your quiz, John, but I agree with Rule of Cruel. There's definitely a timeline, and what I'm really hoping we get from the Horus Heresy Weekender, as someone who owns 2 Horus Heresy armies that will be unplayable at launch. Horus Heresies. Yeah, this way it was a disaster in the late 1400s. A rampant group of horses betrayed the Horse King. Anyway, I would watch that. The whole Horus Heresy, but they're all horses instead.
but not like proper horses. Literally, people wearing horse masks.
Yeah,
those horrible rubber ones.
Mask. Just the
you can hear them talking through it.
This is getting very close to the Flash Gets animation furry saga with the Black Templars at this point. I'm not a fan.
I'm a fan. Okay.
I'm a fan of that.
Yeah. I don't know what I was saying then, but we'll move on. I would just want a roadmap. I want a timeline and a roadmap. Like, you're launching a new game system. This is kind of maybe going to be the crux of the point at the end of the conversation. But if you're launching a game system like Marvel, or Star Wars Legion, or Conquest, you want a timeline because you're buying into it. Now, of course, Games Workshop are probably going to support this forever. Probably.
It's a core game now, so it's going to be sold by all of their retail shops, and third parties will be able to buy it.
But what if it sells like what if it sells like shit? We run a 40k show. Yeah. We're doing a show that's titled Horus Heresy. Yeah. And so that's like the most bought in group I think you can get, unless we were the 30k channel and we did a show. And 75% of the people are like, not going to buy it. So.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Rob. If I'm a car salesman and I sell 1 car a week, I'm doing pretty well. Okay?
Agreed.
Because that's a lot of money. Yeah. If I sell 1 Horus Heresy box set at £240 a pop per month, we're killing it.
Okay, all right, fine. Yeah. Just ask that of those Dominion box sets, which are just floating around for free.
Yeah, I love having 3 of them sat in my back.
You mean
cupboard.
those ones that have been given away as last place prize at tournaments?
Yes.
I wonder why Scrivener has 3.
Right, okay. Thank you to Gary in the chat says, we're only here for you. Love you. All right, it seems your enemy has left a vital position vulnerable to counterattack, John. Yeah? How do you go about destroying it? Launch covert operations, advance slow and steady, or actually it'd be better to scramble rapid response infantry units for a raid?
Number 3, so the rapid response raid.
You've just changed from the armored big boys to the infantry.
Because it's both, why not?
Wait, you'd rather
don't have
scramble
to stick
rapid
to
response infantry?
Yeah.
Instead of the big boys.
Why not both? Why not both?
Why not
Because
both?
That's what
not
this is
what's
insinuating to me.
happening.
Yeah, why not both? The scans revealed heavily defended bunker, and you're tasked with storming it. What's the best way to take it? Not on my mum. Strike fast, close the gap, advance steadily, analysing their weak spots, or, on second thoughts, calling in tanks is the best way to minimise casualties.
So it's
They're
back
really
the
trying to
tanks
push me
again,
to
Scrivener.
do this. I'm struggling. I'm struggling there. I think it's back to tanks because who doesn't want to buy lots of big tanks?
Scrivener's going to end up with the most indecisive legion.
I think I don't want to play tanks, John. Like
It's
I like
horrible, right?
I like transports, but I think
Here we go again.
what's up,
Well,
Tom?
I'm
What's up, Tom?
going to take loads of Sakara and Arcuses and just annoy you from range.
Okay.
Scrivener's just going to keep picking actually swap back to the infantry, actually swap back to the tanks for the next hour.
Yes. Well, I've done this one a couple of times actually, and each time it's a different answer.
Oh wait, it's made us go back. Okay, right. It seems your enemy has left a vital position on what? We're back.
Yeah, because he said actually get the tanks instead.
Oh my god. All right, John.
What? Instead of.
Number 2 then, please. Carol.
Advance slow and steady. Okay.
Yeah, because that feels very Dark Angely to me.
Reinforcements have arrived. What weaponry do they carry? Plasma.
It's a plasma.
Plasma
Boom.
caliver or a Volkite culvern?
Not the Colverns. They're done now. I think it's all about plasma.
Okay. You're fighting an army that's well equipped and committed to their cause. How do you take them on? Stand strong, use willpower, and wait to fire to break their resolve and burn them out of their bunkers, or use your elite units to claim key strategic positions, trusting them to give you an advantage.
Using the elite guys because I have companions on my side. Hopefully.
You have companions on your side. Okay, elites. What do you want covering your advance? Xiphon Interceptor, by the way, a beautiful mini that's got like 2 guns.
I really like Battlestar Galactica 2.
Or the Sikaran Omega Tank Destroyer.
Well, as there won't be any tanks on the battlefield because I'll be playing Rob because he's obviously a traitor, it's probably going to be the Xiphons because I do like them and they're not very useful in 40k, so hopefully they'll be good in 30k.
Okay, so Xiphon.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool because I like lots of fast-moving stuff. I like some Terminators. It just feels natural to me.
FYI, yeah, I play Solar Auxilia, who are good guys. Good guys.
Got him, guys. I got him.
Yeah, and also Mechanicum, who are third party. Yeah, we're China, baby. Yeah.
Oh, they're China cast, so you didn't even contribute. No wonder Felgeworld's
they're
going
not
down.
China cast. They're from Games Workshop. Yeah, what I'm saying is that's what Mars is. Not that I played Mars, obviously. I played Ryza because I'm way cooler.
I'm more of a Nestle kind of guy.
Okay, fine. All right, whatever. Yeah. Would you rather exemplify everything a Space Marine should aspire to faithfully following the strictures of the Noble Code? Not forgetting that there wasn't a book.
There isn't the Codex Astartes.
Yeah.
No.
Or fuel your skill at arms with unfettered ambition and show everyone you're capable of once you free your chains.
I think it's number 1 because that sounds a little bit corrupt. The second one to me.
John, you were assigned to the Ultramarines. Yeah, the Ultramarine win wars by
How do I
being.
remove him from the call?
Friendship
Sorry, guys,
ended
I'm
with
out.
John. Yeah, right. Oh no, he's blue. It's okay, John. There's loads of people who like blueies. Yeah, that's not a problem.
My friend Sean, and we know how much fun he has.
Yeah.
Very limited
Shall
fun.
we take a look at the Ultramarine specific units, boys?
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it, John. You're in that now. You've made your decision. And you must play. Oh my God, the Forge Your website is honestly run on a potato. And I do not
Is
know.
it asking you how many dogs you can see in the capture
Like every
again?
time. All right, okay. No, hold on. Let me go get you some Ultramarines. Okay, there's some actual beautiful sculpts, right, from the Ultramarines.
They're Ultramarines.
Wait a minute, hold on. I'm looking at the contemptor here.
Yeah.
I thought only Emperor's children were allowed the Aquila on him.
No, they're all allowed the Aquila. It's for like a badge of. It's a badge of you've done something good. Here's an Aquila.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not sure that's true.
They actually have personality, sure. I love my Heresy Ultramarines. Right, because, and that's a fair statement, because the miniatures, I'm going to say it right now, that the Roboot Guilliman, is one of the best miniatures that they've done.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really nice. Unfortunately, they only have one specific unit, because we've got no character. Well,
Hey, we would get loads of traction on TikTok if we were like, what is the Horus Heresy, but in Harry Potter terms? Because I tell you what, Ultramarines are so the Hufflepuff. Is that right, Tom?
I'm gonna remove the myself from the call in a minute, mate.
Just
Not
no.
Okay, fine. Okay, well, okay. So, John, you also get. Just looking at these, by the way, you get you get some cool little generic characters. You get an amazing Contemptor, I think.
It's pretty, but yeah.
No one clip that. I agree. So you're not interested in any of this? Wait, didn't
No.
they have? Oh, wait, what about the Invictus? The Invictus are amazing minis. What?
Well, I thought you answered all those questions truthfully and honestly, not to try and achieve a certain goal. So this clearly is your faction, no?
Dude,
Nah.
Dude, the Invictus are so rad. They've got guns in their shields.
They just look like there's already there's a generic unit that are like with boarding shields, right, with guns like that.
Is that £5? Is that 5 model unit? 76 pounds.
Hey, do you remember Blood Knights?
I do.
They went down in price.
Whoa, a price drop.
That cannot be accurate. Is that... Wait, what country am I shipping to? No.
No, Rob,
That is Britain.
Heresy.
That is the UK.
All of Forge World's pricing went up massively when they had the price changes.
No.
Like the Lion went up from £85 to £96, so that everything had massive jumps.
Wait, so it's £75 for 5 dudes?
Yep.
I'm out. And
That
for
sounds
that,
like a good time.
and because of that, boss, I'm out. Okay, all right. So Caesarians, no, you're not into them.
Right?
Well,
That's
that's
what
how I was brought into this world, so that's how I'm going to get taken out.
They're called Caesarians. They're called a Caesarian squad.
Right, Albert, I'm going to Australia. Give me a sec.
Okay, fine.
How many Australian monies is this?
Yeah, find out how much this is in Australian dollar.
Oh, no.
dues.
Oh, okay, Australia.
gosh.
Okay.
Even the Inner Circle Terminators for Darkangels are cheaper than these guys, and there's more resin and they're more recent.
Okay.
How does that make any sense?
Come on, I need to know. I don't know what this is.
In Australian money,
Yeah,
there are 159 didgeridoos.
right.
In New Zealand money, I
Oh,
don't
no.
even know if it's the same currency.
It isn't.
They are 180 didgeridoos.
Wow.
Like,
But I don't know what the conversion rate is on that. Oceanic.
Okay. They just don't want you to buy the Honest. Okay, that kind of makes sense.
I would, to be fair, they are Ultramarines, so I don't mind Games Workshop dissuading people from buying them.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yes.
That's a bit of a shame.
I'm not a fan.
Okay, one unit for the box set prices. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Okay, all right. So you're not happy that you're an Ultramarine, John?
Well, I'm gonna live in denial for the rest of my life, kind of questioning why I'm an Ultramarine in private, but I'm obviously from Caliban.
Yeah. By the way, 195 Australian.
Yeah, but
translates-
it was 159.
Oh, 159. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. 3 koalas. Hello, tabletop videos, you cutie. So happy to see you.
Aww.
Yeah. All right. So, all right. I'll do the quiz then. All right. Restart the selection.
Yeah, come on. Let's
process.
see what
I'm ready.
mess you get.
Horus the War
We'll be
Master.
watching a delay, but
Horus Warmaster, humanity must be freed from ignorance. I've always believed that. Scans of the battlefield have detected, scramble the infantry. Scans revealed heavily defended bunker, and you're tasked with storming it. Advance steadily, analyzing their weaknesses, like a true. I'm just aiming for deathguard, by the way, because they're cool. When you move in for the kill, which trigger would you rather be pulling? A bolter or a plasma rifle? Bolter. The enemy army is massing for a major assault. How do you prepare? Determine the most likely routes of attack, or respond in kind, deploying mass ranks of troops and powerful war gear to blow them away. Loads of dudes. I want to be surrounded by dudes. I want to be up to my nuts in guts of dudes. That's what I want. And then,
You like
don't clip that.
Nuts of dudes, don't you?
In which? Oh wait, I haven't shown it. Sorry. In which vehicle do you advance?
Fake news.
A Demos pattern predator or a Land Raider armored Proteus. The Proteuses are sick, by the way.
But does a predator have like space for you to sit in it?
Yes, yeah. There's some really cool cool Land Raiders. Would you rather enhance your fighting capabilities with bionic limbs or inexorably advance? So
we know where he's going here.
Do I want to be Deathguard or I want to be Deathguard? I'm Deathguard! Yay! Okay, really exciting. Brilliant. They're so fun.
There you go.
Yeah.
Actually got what you aimed for, just like Scriver.
Yeah. Played for and got.
I love living in regret. That's my default.
If we just go to quickly check out the Deathguard special dudes.
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't know. This is going to take.
Oh, isn't there that shithead Typhon? You get to have him.
How dare you? How dare you, you fucking bitch.
He's got a lot to.
He's not using the word shithead as like a derogatory terminology.
No, I am.
No, he's just being accurate.
He's the one character I definitely.
Oh shit! I'm still on New Zealand money. Let me just change it back.
Callous Typhon.
Says everyone.
Has a lot to answer for.
Says everyone who's on New Zealand money. Oh no.
VPN.
All right. So
I love how Mortarion himself cost less than that 5-man squad of Ultramarines.
I don't know if you guys can see this, but let's just go back to big screen for a minute, really quick. Check out Rob's Mortarion right in front of you, ready for a good slap chopping. He's ready. He's hype.
That's convenient.
Yeah, that is convenient.
That's a Horus Heresy one.
Yeah. Dude, I got a Deathguard Horus Heresy army.
I can't believe you're going to apply the slap chop
he's like, I've been a Deathguard Horus Heresy player for years.
I have been.
I never talk about it. It's sat in a box.
Do you not know that I am?
I know, Rob, because every time you mention them in 40k, you're like, oh yeah, I love them in Heresy. I'm like,
all right. Okay. Yeah, shut up, Rob. Okay. Well, Typhus looks rad. Yeah. So just talking about Typhus.
You mean Typhon? Callous Typhon.
Sorry, not Typhus.
First failure of the Deathguard.
Yeah, not Typhus. And I think the Contemptor's cool. Although again, this is some of the first Marines that they released, so they did better. The later sculpts where they did faction specific stuff were better because these were some of the earlier ones. So the Death Shroud Terminators are generally pretty poop, as are the Grave Wardens. Although Grave Wardens is a very cool name for a Terminator unit, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
Better than Blightlord Terminators, man.
Right. Do you know what I mean? Anyway. Okay. So I think the interesting thing about this conversation is that the Games Workshop definitely have these incredible narrative hooks to get you involved in this game system, right? Like, they've got all of these things that are different but the same, and they've got loads of ways to explore it. That's the thing I'm most excited about the Heresy, including, obviously, all of the great narrative. But I guess the real question is, and I know, John, you're on the right fence with this, but the kind of point I wanted to get to towards the end of the show was that at £240 for half an army, and then to add on to that army, it's going to cost you £60 to £70 per 5-man squad. It has to be a hard no from me to buy any more in than I am, right?
Yeah.
So, John, what is it about it that makes you want to buy it? What makes you excited about buying it or getting into it?
I think for me, it's because it becomes a time where when you're picking a sub-faction in 40k, a lot of the time it doesn't matter for the paint scheme.
Mm-hmm.
To some extent. Like, if you're playing orcs, you paint them as whatever scheme you want to some extent, and you go, right, to them, I'm playing them as this. Whilst in Heresy, it feels like you kind of pick a team, and then you're there, and then you don't just paint them as that. You then buy the unit specific to them, and it's going down that rabbit hole almost. I know that obviously there's some people out there that will paint them in like whatever fancy scheme they fancy, but I like there's that kind of narrative decision that you can make.
Yep.
I'm having to think very hard about the resin exclusive, like the kind of Legion exclusives, because they are still quite a lot. But like for me, just starting out, buying that box feels like a good way of kind of getting my toe in the door.
Mm.
And if there's some perceived saving, like if it's on par with things like the Indomitus box, but instead of it being a box I split, it's one that I get to get all the value out of, it doesn't feel so bad. But it has to be a decision I'm certain of, though. That's the thing. I can't just go, oh, this payday, I'm just going to buy it for the sake of it. Because if it is 240 quid, that's not just you go, right, I'm just going to casually just spend that money today. You've got to have thought long and hard about that, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think what's interesting about it is a game system. Yeah, and Alan Drill, thank you. It has the rule book as well, of course, although obviously all rule books should be digital and free online. So, like, there's that, which we're all agreeing with forever. I think, and I agree with Tabletop Opinions in the chat, because I think is a good point and well made, is that my entry into the heresy, and still was that you want to pick up those Forge World additional units. You don't want like if you're gonna buy a Contemptor, you buy your faction specific Contemptor, right? You take your time with it because it's a historical. I'm actually really excited about the Heresy being re-released because it's a historical setting with these really great amazing rule. Well, they did have amazing rule sets for like playing these narrative things that weren't particularly balanced, at all. But also neither's 40k. So it was a really great setting for that. I think though, for me, in fact, actually, let me talk to Tom about it. Tom, how are you feeling about it? Just kind of like wholesale now.
I'm getting into it, and so with 40k, I like the setting, but I can't really commit to it as a building like a lore or like a themed army, right? Because I'm too busy committed to all the competitive stuff, right? But that doesn't mean I don't like that side of it. Like I'm looking at building a Gallienus themed cavalry army from the Christ of the 3rd century, just to stick on my side, just because I like I like the idea of it. I like the historical context around it, right? And I like the setting of this as well. So I don't mind putting that money into something that isn't necessarily going to see play, just as something to own as like a collection. You know what I mean? But I might bring out to play with every so often, but it's not the main reason for doing so. So I like having that little collection, say this is what this collection represents. Whereas I've got all these minis around me, they don't really represent anything apart from the unit that they're meant to be on the tabletop. Yeah. Whereas having a little army, a little collection that can just say this is my X-themed army, right? And this is the story behind it, and this is why it's cool, right? Is something that I'd like to do, and as I like the Horus Heresy set, I think why not make just one army for that setting, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the really interesting things about the Heresy armies and buying a Heresy army, or even being into the Heresy army, is that it's very, very aspirational. You buy the books, as in the lore, but as in the novels. You read the audio, or you listen to the audiobooks, you read the books, and you get into the story, and you're like, yeah, I'm really hyped for this. This is super cool. I'm really invested. I think there's two things though that kind of like give me pause at the moment, because you kind of have to approach it as, I get that the Horus Heresy already exists as a game system and as miniatures, but I guess really we should really give Games Workshop the level playing field that we would give all other game designers and miniature releases at this point in 2022, right? And that's that they're launching a box set, and the box set is half of an army, and that's fair to say. And then buying more into that half of an army is very, very expensive. So we kind of had this discussion at the top of the show, but just to talk about it again, if you wanted to buy into Conquest, so I did this quick math earlier, in England it's £110. So half price. If you wanted to buy into Star Wars Legion, which has a crazy deal on May the 4th, which, yes, I know they're getting rid of some backlog, but in the UK at least, you're going to spend £100 and you're going to get £300 worth of models. If you buy an MCP, then you're looking at less than £100. If you're buying He-Man, the brand new game He-Man,
Master of the Universe,
Universe, right? That's setting you back only £100, and it seems like most of these starter boxes settle around the £100 mark, right? And then they're and some of them are half an army, some of them are most of the ability to play. Right, Kirioth, I can't believe you got it. Tell me how you got it. I want one.
Shill.
yeah.
I was in Twitter like, oh, Kirioth, you've got that box. Oh, I'm not at all jealous. seething with rage.
I'm deeply jealous. As a competitive Masters of the Universe main now, I'm furious. So my point is that I think compared to other game systems, also other game systems have a roadmap. Most game systems have a roadmap for what they'll be doing in the next 6 months to a year, so you kind of know where the game is going. Most of the rules are digital and available and free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have they said that they're launching an army builder with this?
No, there's been nothing announced in that respect. So if they're going to announce anything like that, I feel like it would be on Saturday at Warhammer Fest.
Okay. They're not.
One thing I would say though, Rob,
they're not. Though, are they?
This box isn't a starter set in a comparative sense to the other ones, not just in price point, but also in what it is.
Mm-hmm.
This is their Indomitus level, people that are kind of on the fence that are already in the hobby, dipping in and going whole hog. I know that there's rumors that they're doing the 3 tiers of starter sets like they do for 40k and Age of Sigmar.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like the 3250, 60 something quid one and 95 quid one, which will be even less useful to someone starting.
Okay.
But they are doing those entry points, so it's not quite as horrendous as, especially like I remember looking at it when I was getting back in 7th edition. Like, how would you have started Heresy 5-6 years ago? Which book do I buy? Like, there wasn't an obvious path. At least this way, there is.
I think
that horrible little box.
I think that's super fair.
Yeah, and it's something I kind of it's not useful necessarily for us as people that already have an understanding of the games, but for the people on the outside, which I guess Forge World as a kind of a producer of models and stuff won't be accessing until now, because why would they, right? Like, you're not going to go directly to Forge World and look at what games they offer. You'd go to Games Workshop or you'd look at a third-party company. So it was always going to be a game system too kind of adjacent for a lot of people to kind of be curious enough about, unless they were reading the books or properly into 40k already.
But the Heresy IP is huge, right? Like,
yeah,
huge.
Definitely.
Like, I'm pretty certain the Heresy IP is huge. Like, you know, I think that seems to be what a lot of people have as an entryway, because they were just some sci-fi books on the shelf. Or as I understood it, I thought that they were particularly huge, and definitely not outstripped, but were big compared to other stuff. Tom, like, knowing that this is half an army, and if you wanted to play like what's the right word? An advised. I was going to say the right points value, but I'll get so many triggered people. Like the advised points value, because a lot of people say Heresy is 3k. You play 3k or it's no play, right? You're not playing it, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's a prodigious amount of miniatures to put on the tabletop, right?
What? Here's my thing. I don't even care about points value. Like, this is a massive red herring, and I know it's, you know, not at all pertinent to the point, but when you say, oh, well, how much is it going to cost you to build an army? And I'm like, well, I don't look at this and think I'm going to need more models, right? I look at this and saying, because if I'm putting an army on my shelf and saying, hey, this is my Sons of Horus collection, and this is what it means, this is the story behind them, right? I don't need extra units to be able to do that. I can add extra units if I want to, but if it's just me and my mate playing on his kitchen table, like, I'm not too fussed, right? And I know it's not pertinent to what you're trying to make, but I'm just not particularly interested, because I've got my game where I'm playing competitive, and I've got my game where I'm like massively invested in like the rules and, you know, getting a full army of this many points and then swapping out my list and what have you. But I don't always want that. Like, I play Age of Sigmar is just like a chill game where I can just turn up with my big boys and just run at people and have a laugh, right? I play 40k as my competitive game, and then I've got, if I do Horus Heresy as well, I've got the game where I'm trying to represent a specific legion or company within a legion on the tabletop, right? That doesn't mean it's. I was about to call it narrative play there, but it's. I mean, we've already been through what narrative play is, right? This is me specifically aiming at. I want to tell this story other than just me trying to win the game, which of course is a narrative itself. But I'm trying to tell the story of my own legion or my own company, right? And why they're fighting this, right? So. I've been playing this for an entirely different reason compared to
which is I think the absolute point of the Heresy and the weird dichotomy of it. Okay, because I agree with John and I agree with you, and I'm also in that camp. I'm like, I would love to pick this up as an example, add to my deathguard army. Not that I need to really. Yeah. Or maybe,
we've seen it. Yep.
Or maybe start like another
Deathguard army.
Yeah, deathguard army. Or start one of the legion armies. Yeah, that I think is good. And that's the fundamental flaw with this as a product, in my opinion. Because they've launched, and that's not to dig on it, because I want the Heresy to succeed. I want the miniatures to succeed and the universe to succeed, because I think they're great. But as a starter box, because they've done a big trailer, haven't they? Yeah, they're like, we're going to get loads of new players.
Sick trailer, by the way.
Yeah. We're going to get loads of new players into the Heresy. You're like, amazing. Okay, right? Great, I love that. Okay, we're going to get them in. Okay, it's old minis. Let's ignore that. They will ignore that for some reason. Yeah, we'll just get them in, and then when we get to it, and they go, "All right, you excited? You played a bit of Warcry, have you?" Like, yeah, I like it. Let's move some dudes around. Like, okay, sweet. Okay, here's a 7th edition 40k rulebook. Fucking suck it. Yeah, be like, what is this? And then they
14 pages of keywords.
They'll be like, what the fuck am I reading? Yeah, like that isn't a pickup, fun, enjoy the narrative rule set.
In fact, I kind of want to play Thousand Suns now so I can get invisibility.
But that's exactly why they're doing this. The 4 tiers of boxes. This is the Indomitus Dominion box where you get the 4 rules because it's them cross-pollinating from the 40k community, which is probably their biggest active gaming kind of gamer base, right? If they're wanting to attract someone new, they're not. This isn't a box that someone new necessarily. There will be people buying it, but it won't be in the same numbers as someone buying a 35, 40 quid box, which has a cut down version of the rulebook. Like if you've ever looked at the what was First Strike for 40k and the mini version of Dominion they've done, it's not even the 4 rules. That's pitched as something to introduce to kids, adults that have never played a war game. That cut down version is how they'll get new people in. This box isn't about that. This is about them going, right, you're an Age of Sigmar guy, you're a bit bored of it quite at the moment, or you're a 40k guy, you love your Space Marines, but they've not been so great up until recently. Here's a way of us getting money out of you. The challenge they're going to have is it's taking money away from the other systems, perhaps, is what I'm worried about. I'm spending this money to then not spend on 40k.
Yeah, I agree. So, like, and I think someone said in the chat, a new wargamer isn't buying this box generally, and I agree with that. And I think lots of current wargamers are definitely going to pick it up, right? Yeah. But like, aren't we throwing like 6 years, 7 years? When did 7th edition come out? 7, 8 years of game design kind of out the window, because that's the other weird bit as well. You're like, oh, these miniatures look better. You're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, oh, but now actually these old midis, do you want them? And you're like, okay. Like, by the way, these rule sets, we've really thought them through. Obviously, we don't necessarily agree with that, but like, we thought these rule sets through. Yeah. Like, isn't this going to be good? And then, oh, actually, we decided to go back and revisit what was lauded as being a very complicated, Tom, I know you don't agree, complicated and over-the-top system. Like,
no, I do agree, but it's complicated in all the wrong ways. It's hard to pick up, but easy to master.
Yeah. Like, I just really wish that this is what I mean by it. Like, I'm excited about the release and Games Workshop as a whole recognizing the amazing job done by their Forge World department to release this incredible IP in a miniatures format so I can tell stories. Because I agree with you. I don't think it should be a competitive game set. I don't think it should be like tournament Warhammer. I think it should be like as close as you can get to telling stories. And I just don't necessarily think that is the rule set to do it. I don't know what you guys think. Tom, you've played more 7th than me and John, probably.
Probably put together,
yeah. Like, what do you think? Do you think that that's the like pick up and play with your mates game set?
I struggle to. I doubt it's exactly like 7th, to be honest, because there was so much about 7th that was based around psychic powers and fighters and what have you, and I don't think you'll see as much about here. I haven't actually looked at the old Horus Heresy book, and I haven't looked at the leaks of the new one. But I can give you a more sincere and accurate answer when I actually read that.
Okay.
But I mean, at least it isn't full of formations. Let's put it that way. At least it's not full of random formations everywhere, and 7 books that you need.
I mean, it will be. That's the point.
But not right now.
Okay.
So we're okay.
That seems fair. So, John, you're still likely to pick it up?
I think so, but I do agree with you. Like, my biggest concern with Heresy as a thing to approach was my dislike of Seventh, and I'm still tentative about that. But because it is Marine on Marine, for at least I think how I'll be playing it locally, I'm not so concerned. But it might be just because my memories of it have kind of faded a little bit, perhaps. But it's one of those things that if I don't really enjoy it, I'll still have the cool models to paint, and you know, it's like I'll just put them in the cabinet. They'll be kind of nice to have, but I won't feel, because I'll be going in knowing that I'm tentative about it. So it's not like I'm going, this is going to be my new game, and then just it fizzles. At least I've got an expectation of kind of tempering whether I'm going to play it for anything more than just like every couple of months digging them out and giving it a go.
Yeah, that seems, and so, that's a very high price point to achieve that, in my personal opinion. Like,
completely.
That's kind of where I'm at.
I do get staff discount though. That's the other big hit for me.
Okay,
right
well,
now, I'm now buying it through the shop I work for, so suddenly it's a little bit more achievable. So I think that also could be a factor for some people now as well. Like, buying these plastics through your favorite third party, you're suddenly getting 20%, 25% off a price tag that used to be so rigidly, like Forge World. You never saw reduced Forge World. If you did, you question whether it was just a recast. And it being a plastic kit that you could buy from your local toy shop or Element Games, or even going into your local Games Workshop, that's quite big, right? Like, people's impulse control is going to be questioned here, whether they can actually just go, I'll just buy this one big box and just see how I get on.
Interesting. All right. Well,
I can see it going wrong for me.
Great little chat. Thank you. Because I think the thing is like, as a Heresy player, or at least a collector, let's put myself there, and a player at one point, when the game systems moved on, it really struggled. I put a poll in the chat, actually, for anyone who's watching. Anyone's watching this back as a podcast, or listening to this as a podcast, or watching back on a YouTube video, I'd love to know your thoughts. But ultimately, like, as a product released, I think it really misses the mark. Like, not that it won't sell well, because it will sell well to the existing community, right? But
this box is definitely, that's where this box is. Whether the range relaunch itself does, it's a very different question, right?
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. I think, like, I've asked if like, wait 4 months and get it at Dominion prices. Definitely. But like, the only reason I say that I think it's missed the mark is because it's really interesting to compare it to other product releases at the time. Because Games Workshop is in this really interesting position where they're the market leader, but I think by luck more than anything, right? Or at least
they were there first.
Yeah, they were there.
That was the thing.
Yeah, they were there first. So these other game companies are doing stuff that seems very innovative to me. I mean, it isn't launching with an army builder. If it doesn't launch with an army builder, like, it's literally tacitly you use another app to build it, and that's so weird. Like, to launch a £240 box set with, like, by the way, use this other thing that we don't talk about to build it. Like, it's a weird product launch. That's what I'm going to say. If it was like an iPhone, let's say we're like tech bros, right? Yeah? And we're doing like our YouTube video where we're like, and hopefully like Tabletop Minions does a more stripped down version of this. Yeah, we're tech bros and we're doing like our review of the new iPhone. They're like, so the new iPhone is there, but it doesn't include a camera, but you buy it from somewhere else. And you're like, what? Like, what? That's weird.
It doesn't come with a charge cable type of thing. It's just like, it's the basic foundation of something you need to just use your thing.
Yeah, and you know you can
It's literally that integral.
But what if you're new? What if you pick up the box and then you like look at the book and you're like, okay, I'm going to build an army now, and you crack out a pen and paper. You're like, let's go. Anyway. I think I've made all the points that I wanted to make, and you guys have made all the points you want to make. So good.
I've got one last one.
Oh, go for it. I want to hear it.
It's kind of, the more I think about how I want to approach the Heresy kind of as an experience, it reminds me of when I've looked at historical war games, other periods, and how the systems play. Like, to me, my expectation for this is like, if I'm wanting to play Napoleonics, I don't want to just play 40k where I'm just moving all my units, shooting all my units. I want it to simulate the time period. Mm-hmm. And so my expectation here is, irrelevant of whether 7th edition does this or 7th edition kind of 2, or if they needed to do a different version of it, I want it to simulate how the warfare works in the Horus Heresy, because that's the point, right? I don't want it to become, I'm competing to win. I want it to give a good simulation of that style of warfare. Whether the rules show us that, that's a whole different kind of kettle of fish,
Are
right?
you going to learn 7th edition rules all over again to play?
I'm gonna have to, right?
Fuck that. Okay. By the way, we've got a vote in just to finish the show off. 69%.
I did vote for it.
69% would prefer stripped down rules, and 31% would want techie and crunchy, which I think is an interesting kind of divide to end it. Anyway, Tom, you cutie, you got any? You are cute and good and brave and kind. Do you have any shout outs today?
No.
Okay. What about you, John?
I'd like to shout out Logan, who's obviously not here, because I'm sure there'll be yet another match. It's going to be another Space Marine army that he won't paint.
So, but definitely pick up the box.
At least.
He's watching West Ham lose right now.
Isn't
that normal, right?
Yeah, it is.
No,
it's so weird. It's so weird to be like, by the way, remember that rule set we fucked off like 7 years ago? It's back, and it still sucks. Like, that's weird as a flex. That's all I've got to say. Like, it's just a weird day. It's a weird day. I can't wait for Old World to come back. I can't wait for Old World to be like, hey, by the way,
Britannia... bring back 6th Ed One Fantasy.
Britannia actually good. Get ready to 6 dice some spells. And I'm going to be like, are we mental?
Is your 6th Ed Demon fuck again?
Am I losing my fucking mind? Like, anyway, all right. Loads of love. Take care of yourselves. John, Tom, thanks for being cuties. Talk to you soon. Thanks, chat. Look after yourselves. See you guys soon, and